I need to know if I'm being reasonable or heartless here. My husband, 27, has a longtime friend who we'll call Bill, 31 male. The two met when my husband was 16, and from how they always tell the story, they've been inseparable. Bill is now married and lives nearby with his wife. They announced their pregnancy a while ago, and my husband was absolutely overjoyed for them. He would visit as often as possible, and honestly it seemed like he was single-handedly funding the baby's wardrobe and nursery. Unfortunately, we got bad news. Bill and his wife were understandably devastated, and so was my husband. I got it, he was watching his best friend go through something unimaginably painful. He was often gone for long periods, comforting Bill because not only had he suffered this loss, his marriage didn't seem to be holding up very well either. The loss occurred 3 months ago. Now, this is where I might be a huge idiot, so I'm in desperate need of judgment. I empathise entirely with Bill and his wife still needing time to recover, but my husband is also still acting as if this is fresh. Not just in the way he's still comforting his friend during his free time or excusing himself to take hours-long phone calls, but the intensity of his emotions. I caught him crying about a week ago, and when I asked him about it, he got angry with me and said it should be obvious. I was surprised to be met with such malice over a simple question, so I tried to gently suggest that therapy might be beneficial. He was feeling this loss like it was his own, and I didn't find that very healthy. In fact, I'd been concerned about him for a few months, if I was honest, but had no idea how to broach the subject. The conversation that followed didn't go well, and my husband said his emotions were perfectly normal, and maybe I was just lacking in empathy. He's been avoiding me since. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your husband is unusually enmeshed here, like weirdly so. I don't think his relationship with Bill is entirely platonic. Have you seen Bill and his wife recently? If you've been distancing yourself, I'd say it's time to go when your husband does so you can judge just how things are between the three of them. Whatever it is bothering your husband, it's clear he's grieving much more than a friend's baby. I saw them a few weeks ago. His wife seemed very distant from Bill, but she was kind to me. We talked for a while. Bill and my husband spent some time alone while she and I did. She's coping decently well, but their marriage isn't holding up very well, as I said. That's troubling her. I agree with you, your husband is acting like he actually lost a baby. Being empathetic is one thing, but this does seem a bit over the top. Either there's more to this story, and I hope there isn't, or he does need to speak to a therapist to work out why he's so enmeshed with his friend. I mean, they met when OP's husband was 16 and Bill was 20. While that's not completely unusual, combined with the unusual level of emotional attachment, it is concerning. I'm not into jumping to conclusions, but it seems as if Bill and the husband are more than friends, and the husband is devastated because he and Bill were going to raise the baby together after Bill leaves his wife. OP, are you sure this wasn't your husband's baby? Secret donor? Affair? Maybe it's just me, but I'm hung up on this. Your suggestion of therapy is right on. I'd be incredibly surprised if my husband displayed the behavior you describe. You checked in on him with a simple question, and it seemed to have triggered him, causing a blowout. I don't think his relationship with Bill is entirely platonic. Everyone's talking about toxic masculinity needing to be erased, and men should be encouraged to have close friendships and show their feelings more. But you're gay if you do this, though. Oh, just screw off. Agreed. Of course, the friend is still grieving. OP's husband is a good guy, experiencing normal empathy when a friend experiences something so unbelievably tragic. OP is insane thinking everything should go back to normal in 3 months. You are the idiot. Support your husband emotionally so he can support his grieving friend. My 19 male girlfriend, 18, got her license about 3 months ago, but last week was the first time I'd been in the car with her while she was driving. My car was in the shop and she came to pick me up from work, and on our way back she decided to stop at a gas station. We pull up to the machine, she looks at me funny for a moment, doesn't say anything, and then gets out of the car and starts pumping her gas. When she got back in the car, I asked her what the funny look was for, and she said, "Really? How do I have a man in the car and I'm the one pumping gas?" "Because it's your car and you're the one driving." She says, "Wow, and you're not even a little bit embarrassed? Watching your girlfriend pump gas in the cold while you're sitting in the nice warm car listening to music?" I say, "No, I was actually quite comfortable, and if I wasn't here, wouldn't you have to pump the gas by yourself anyway?" She says, "But that's the point. You're here. A woman should never have to pump gas while a man's in the car." My dad, uncle, cousin, brother, nephew, whoever would have never done what you did just now. I say, well, I'm not them and I don't subscribe to that. Can we go now? Mind you, the whole time we were having this conversation, she hasn't even started the car. The gas station is filling up with cars and she's literally hogging a machine. She says, I'm not moving until you apologize. To make it even worse, the guy waiting in the car behind us walks over and politely taps on the window and says, Hey, sorry, are you guys leaving? She rolls down the window and asks him, If your girlfriend or wife was driving, would you still pump her gas? He says, probably. And she looks at me in victory, and we finally move. She says, seriously, don't ever do that again. I probably should have let it go, but I couldn't. No, if we're in your car and you're driving, you're pumping the gas. She starts going off again until I can't take it anymore. I get out and start walking down side streets to a friend's place. She's following me, calling my name on my phone, but I ignore her and eventually lose her when she gets stuck at a red light. Since last Friday, I've been getting all sorts of angry messages and texts from her friends about how I'm not a real man for not pumping gas, and even my friends were telling me, yeah man, you should always pump the girl's gas, it's just principle. That whole week was finals week, so I didn't really pay too much attention to what they were saying, but finals ended yesterday and I'm home now for Christmas. My extended family is all here, so I decided to ask them if a guy should always pump gas for the girl. I'm confused because all the men are saying yes, but all the women say that while they appreciate the men doing it, they can also do it by themselves, even when a man is in the car. They're all still arguing downstairs and it's getting pretty heated, so I decided to write to you guys to ask, am I the idiot and should I apologize? It's not idiotic to have expectations in this situation. In my wife and I's case, we expect the passenger to pump gas, no matter which of us it is. But though your girlfriend's attitude that gender determines who pumps gas is rather old-fashioned, she becomes the idiot in how she made a public scene about it in an attempt to extract an apology from you. You are not the idiot, she is, and I can't imagine wanting to continue a relationship with Miss Red Flags. Take it as the red flag it is and dump the princess. If you have expectations of your partner, you communicate them. Don't drag the world into your argument and invite them to berate your partner. It's not about the gas anymore, it's about who she is. I'm sorry, but I'm giving you are the idiot. She did you a favour and you couldn't return the favour. You made her go out in the cold while you sit in a nice warm car. Manners, dude, manners. Yes, I can pump my own gas, but it's nice for you to do it and it costs you absolutely nothing to do it. But I'm from the South and I'm like Blanche from Golden Girls regarding feminism. I don't want to be treated as your equal, I want to be treated much better than you. I, a female teen, have 3 siblings, a female tween, a male tween, and a younger female tween. My dad also discovered that he had another kid, a teen female, from before he met my mom. He and my mom got married fast. His new kid moved in and my dad made me share a room with my twin sister so his new kid could have her own room. Something important to the story is that my dad has a temper. He would never hit us or anything, but he yells and it's scary. My mom has talked to him about making it hard for us to talk to him or be around him sometimes, and he always said he'd work on it, but never did. I moved in with my mom, they're divorced, because I didn't want to share my room and all of my dad's attention was on the new kid. My dad and I still texted and called a few days a week. Finally, he asked me to come over because he had something to tell me, and he wanted it to be in person. When I got there, he told me that he started therapy, parenting classes, and an anger management thing, and he wanted to let me know because he and I used to butt heads the most. I asked why he chose to do it now, and he said he was doing it for his new kid but still expected me to be happy about it. We've been telling him to control his temper for years, and now he's only doing it for his new kid. I told my dad he and his new kid could screw off, and I went back to my mom's house. My mom was waiting in the car the entire time. I haven't talked to him since, but he's still calling and texting me. My mom thinks I should be happy that he's finally working on getting better, even if the new kid was the reason, and that maybe I should give him a chance, but I don't want to. Am I the idiot for telling my dad he and his new kid could screw off? Edit. There was an incident with the new kid where he threw a temper tantrum, not related to her, and she freaked out and tried to run away. Not the idiot. What he thought he said, I'm getting better, you should be happy and praise me. What you heard, and he actually said, I'm getting better finally because of my other child. You weren't worth getting better for, but she is, so you should be happy and give me a cookie anyway. Tell him that. Tell him he flat out told you his other child was worth doing the work to get better for, but you weren't, and that hurts, and that just furthers his psychologically abusive behavior towards you. Also, if he honestly wants to get better, he needs to work on his relationship with all of his kids and not just the new kid, and expect the other kids to be happy he's slightly less abusive. You'll definitely need family therapy on top of individual therapy. So Dad has one of his temper rants and the new girl ran away. The caseworker's priority is to get the new daughter into a safe placement and then monitor her at times to ensure she's safe. So dear old Dad's parenting is being scrutinized by the state. It's probable that Dad is getting money from the state to house the daughter, and those betterment classes have probably been ordered by the court or caseworker. OP, I'm shocked that your mom is pushing you to reconcile with your dad just so she can go back to having just weekends with her kids and not having you with her full time. She doesn't seem like a good parent either. I would look into a grandparent taking in you and your siblings because your dad is putting all his energy into his long-lost daughter while forgetting the rest of you. I, 39 female, have a teen daughter. For her birthday 3 months ago, she only wanted a dog. I don't mind pets, but I never really wanted any in my house. My daughter has always begged to get a dog or a cat, and up until this point I've said no. This time I really thought about it. She's a good kid, and I figured she was mature enough to take care of it. I agreed to get her a dog, but I made plenty of rules. The main rule was that she was the one who would take care of the dog, feeding, walking, and taking it outside. She was very happy about this, and we went to a local shelter. We ended up adopting a small mixed breed dog who was quite friendly and overall well behaved. We all grew very attached to the dog. I have a tween son as well, and he instantly fell in love with him. Everything was going well for a month. Eventually the dog started peeing and pooping in the house. I would text my daughter about this, asking if she took him outside, and she would say she forgot. Since she was at school, I was the one who had to clean up the poo. This happened maybe 4 times. Each time I lectured my daughter about taking care of her dog. I made a point to emphasize that it was her dog, and she was responsible for him. There were also quite a few times when my daughter texted me from school saying she forgot to feed the dog and asking me to. On Friday, she went to school as usual. I walked past her room at some point and the door was closed. I heard the dog barking from inside the room. I let him out and texted her what had happened. She said he must have been in there and she closed the door without realizing it. The dog was fine, he was only in there for about 3 hours, but I asked her what would have happened if I didn't hear the dog. He would have been in there all day without water or food. I was very annoyed since I never wanted any pets. I made a heat-of-the-moment decision to get rid of the dog. I called my sister who lives 10 minutes away and loves dogs. I asked her if she'd take the dog, and I also said it may be temporary if my daughter proved that she was ready to care for him. My sister happily agreed, and I brought him to her house before work. Of course, I intend to take my kids to visit the dog, but I'm done taking care of him when it's supposed to be my daughter. I also feel the dog will be better cared for at my sister's house. I explained this to the kids, who were extremely upset with me. Both of my kids started crying and my daughter stormed off to her room. She's been extra mouthy to me all weekend and my son has been moping around. I feel bad for my son, who's very close to the dog and didn't do anything to deserve him being taken away. I do feel bad for my daughter as well, but she broke our agreement. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. It seems like an odd decision to bring a dog into the house with a firm stipulation that a single family member is the only one to take care of it. Also, I would think par for the teenager taking care of a dog course would involve a few slip-ups, similar to what you've spoken of. Sending the dog off for what should have been your expectation in the first place feels unfair to the family and the dog. You never get pets for kids, you get them because you want them. At least your sister loves the dog, but you should only have gotten one if you were willing to take care of it. Did you help prepare her in any way? Help with feeding or walking schedules? Figure out what to do when she's at school and can't let the dog out? Obedience classes? Vet appointments? She needs help managing this new responsibility. As a parent, it's your job to teach her and guide her through it. You can't just throw this at her and expect her to succeed right away. Rather than making a heat-of-the-moment decision and rehoming the dog, you should have sat down with her and discussed ways to help her navigate this responsibility. Disagree. OP, you are not the idiot. Every step you've made seems perfectly reasonable. Your daughter is at the age where she can start learning that shirking responsibilities often has consequences. and you gave her plenty of chances. If she can get a job, she can take care of a dog. She just doesn't want the responsibility, which isn't great, but she was lying to herself about it. I, 18 female, want to take my close friend's boyfriend to my aunt's wedding across the country as a +1. My close friend, 18 female, is quite hurt by this. I've known her boyfriend, 18 male, and my childhood friend for 7 years while I've known her for 2 years. They've been dating for a year. Now, let me get to my reasoning of why I invited him. My aunt told me that I could bring a +1 that she would fully fund, so I thought of him. That he should come as he's already met my immediate family and my mother is quite close to his. Not only that, but I felt quite obligated to make him my +1 as earlier this year he'd made me his +1 to his dad's after event of his conference. My close friend, who's in the same circle of me in societies, finds this quite distasteful, even bordering on disrespectful. While I see it as only 2 childhood friends going to a relative's wedding, she may not. He's confirmed that he would love to come and that it's quite endearing, although my close friend has been acting quite peculiarly with me at events and dinners. Am I the idiot if I carried out this plan? You are the idiot. Your intention could be fully innocent, but you're taking her boyfriend on a date. If you don't think it's a date, then ask yourself why you didn't invite a girl. But honestly, you don't need a +1 for a family wedding, let alone someone you're not dating. I too wouldn't be comfortable with my friend going on a weekend trip away with my boyfriend. Seriously? Being a +1 to an evening event in your own town is far different than a wedding across the country, not only because it's a more serious investment of time and money, but also because weddings are romantic by definition. It feels like you're justifying this behavior because you've known him longer than her. Personally, I probably wouldn't want to be friends with you anymore. Sometimes we need to step back from our friendships a bit out of respect for the new partner. A what? A date? On what kind of misogynistic planet do you live? Oh, I forgot, it's beloved Earth, and the coincidence of your childhood best friend being male makes this a date. Bless you. This is the kind of men and women can't be friends crap. Bringing along a +1 isn't mandatory, but nice, and even if people ask if they're a couple, he's been her best friend for years. Her best friend is not a girl but a boy, and she has no boyfriend. So who do you bring? Your best friend, of course.